What if the reason she's not chasing you is because you're trying too hard to be liked? Let's be honest, folks. Most men are doing the same thing. Talking more, explaining more, trying to impress, trying to prove they're worth her attention. You show interest too early, you make your intentions clear, and somehow the attraction fades instead of growing. You've felt this before, my friend. A conversation starts strong, there's energy, maybe even tension. But the moment you lean in too much, something shifts. She pulls back, she becomes distant, and you're left wondering what went wrong. Here's the truth most men never hear. Attraction is not built by giving more. It's built by controlling what you reveal, and when you reveal it. The men who understand this don't chase. They don't beg for attention. They create an environment where she starts to invest, without even realizing why. This isn't about cheap tricks or manipulation. This is about understanding how human nature works, how perception shapes desire, how silence can say more than words, and how making her feel like she's choosing you is the most powerful move you can ever make. So stay with me, because what you're about to learn will completely change the way you see attraction, power, and control in every interaction. Let's get into it. Number 1. Make her feel in control. Let's start with a truth most men don't want to hear, folks. The moment a woman feels like you're trying to control the outcome, you've already lost. Not because she doesn't like you, but because no one likes to feel controlled, especially when it comes to attraction. Here's the shift you need to understand, my friend. A woman doesn't want to be led in a way that feels forced. She wants to feel like she's choosing, like every step forward is her decision. But here's where it gets interesting. The man who understands this doesn't chase that choice. He creates the conditions where that choice becomes inevitable. Let's be real for a second. Most men push too early. They try to define things. They try to move things forward with obvious intent. And the moment they do that, she feels the pressure. And pressure kills curiosity. Now picture this clearly. A man named Jason, 43, is talking to a woman named Rachel, 39, at a rooftop lounge in Miami. The energy is good. There's eye contact, some light teasing, a natural flow. Jason doesn't rush. He doesn't overcompliment her. He doesn't try to impress. He keeps things simple, calm, slightly distant but present. At one point, Rachel asks him a question about his work. Instead of giving a long explanation, Jason gives just enough. Then he shifts the focus back to her, but not in a needy way, in a curious way. Now something subtle starts to happen. Rachel begins to lean in more. She asks more questions. She starts investing in the interaction. Why? Because she feels like she's pulling him in, and that feeling is powerful. Now flip it. Same setting, same woman, but this time Jason tries harder. He talks more. He explains more. He tries to keep her engaged at all costs. Now Rachel leans back. She listens, but she doesn't invest. The dynamic shifts. That's the difference. Here's the deeper truth, folks. The illusion of control is what creates attraction. When she feels like she's choosing you, she becomes emotionally invested. She starts justifying her interest. She starts building the connection in her own mind. And that's far stronger than anything you could try to convince her of. Let's be honest, my friend. You don't need to chase attention. You need to create space for her to give it. That means saying less, doing less, but being more intentional with what you do. Back to Jason and Rachel. At some point, there's a pause in the conversation. Jason doesn't rush to fill it. He lets it sit. Rachel breaks the silence. That's a small moment, but it reveals everything. She's now participating, not just reacting. And once that shift happens, the dynamic changes completely. Here's the key insight. Control is not about dominating the interaction. It's about not needing to control it at all. Because when you don't need anything from her, when you're not chasing an outcome, she feels that freedom. And that freedom allows her to move closer on her own. That's the paradox. The less you try to control her, the more influence you actually have. So next time you're in that situation, don't focus on what to do next. Focus on what you're allowing her to feel. Is she chasing, or are you? If this is starting to click for you, drop a comment and say, I let her choose. Stick with me, because what we're about to get into next is how saying less actually makes her think more, and that's where real attraction starts building. Number 2, say less, create obsession. Let's get straight to it, folks. The more you talk, the less she thinks about you, and the less she thinks about you, the less she feels. That's the part most men completely miss. They believe attraction is built through explaining, sharing, and constantly keeping the conversation alive. But in reality, attraction grows in the space you don't fill. Let's be honest, my friend. When you say everything, you leave nothing for her to discover. And without discovery, there's no curiosity. Without curiosity, there's no obsession. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, you don't need to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you. The same applies here. You don't need to fill every silence. You don't need to prove your value through constant words. Your restraint is what gives your presence weight. Now think about this. When you give short, intentional answers instead of long explanations, something shifts. She starts to wonder. She starts to fill in the gaps. And that process pulls her deeper into the interaction. Because the human mind hates unfinished stories. It wants closure. It wants understanding. And when you don't give it immediately, she stays engaged, trying to figure you out. That's where obsession begins. Let's be real for a second, folks. Most men talk to be understood. But a man who understands psychology speaks just enough to be intriguing, and then steps back. As Seneca said, he who knows does not speak much. That's not about being silent for the sake of it. It's about discipline. It's about knowing that your value is not in how much you say, but in how much you make her feel. Here's the deeper layer. When you speak less, she pays more attention to everything you do, say. Your words carry weight. Your pauses carry tension. Even your silence becomes noticeable. And that silence becomes emotional pressure, not negative pressure. The kind that makes her lean in. The kind that makes her ask more questions. The kind that keeps her thinking about you even after the interaction ends. Because she didn't get all the answers. And that's exactly the point. As Epictetus taught, be silent for the most part, or speak merely what is necessary. That's not just philosophy, that's strategy. When you control your words, you control the pace of the interaction. And when you control the pace, you control the emotional rhythm. Let's get one thing clear, my friend. This is not about being cold or distant. It's about being intentional. You're still present. You're still engaged. But you're not overextending yourself. You're not giving everything away up front. You're allowing her to come toward you. That's the shift. Because when she invests mentally, when she starts trying to understand you, she becomes emotionally involved. And once she's emotionally involved, attraction grows naturally. You didn't force it, you allowed it. So, next time you're in a conversation, slow down, say less, leave space, let the moment breathe, and watch what happens. If this is hitting you right now, drop a comment and say, I speak less. Stay with me, because what we're about to get into next is how silence itself can pull her in stronger than any words you could ever use. Number 3, let her chase your silence. Now, this is where most men completely lose control of the dynamic, my friend, because silence makes them uncomfortable. They think if they stop talking, the attraction dies. They think they need to keep the energy going, keep her entertained, keep her engaged every second. So they fill every gap, every pause, every moment. And without realizing it, they kill the very tension that creates attraction. Let's be real, folks. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is pressure. The right kind of pressure. It's the space where her mind starts working. Picture this. A man named Eric, 46, is sitting across from a woman named Natalie, 38, at a quiet cocktail bar in San Diego. The conversation has been smooth so far, nothing forced, just natural flow. At one point, Natalie asks Eric a personal question. Instead of giving a long answer, Eric gives a short response. Calm, direct. Then he pauses. He doesn't rush to explain. He doesn't fill the space. Now watch what happens. Natalie leans in slightly. She studies him. There's a moment where she's waiting, expecting more, but he stays relaxed, silent, present. So she speaks again. She asks a follow-up question. That's the shift. She's now chasing the conversation. Now flip it. Same situation. But this time, Eric answers her question with a long explanation. He keeps talking. He adds more details. He tries to keep her engaged. Natalie listens, but she doesn't lean in. She doesn't invest. The energy stays flat. That's the difference. Here's the deeper truth, my friend. When you remove silence, you remove mystery. And when you remove mystery, you remove desire. Because desire doesn't grow in certainty. It grows in the unknown. Let's be honest here. Most men are afraid of being misunderstood. That's why they over-explain. They want clarity. They want approval. But the man who understands this game is comfortable being slightly misunderstood. Not in a confusing way, in an intriguing way. Back to Eric and Natalie, there's a moment where they both stop talking. Just eye contact, no words. Eric doesn't look away. He doesn't break the moment. Natalie holds it too. That silence becomes charged. Not awkward, not uncomfortable, just heavy with presence. That's tension. And tension, when it's grounded, pulls her in stronger than anything you could say. Now, here's what you need to understand, folks. Silence only works when your presence is solid. If you're nervous, if you're unsure, silence feels awkward. It pushes her away. But if you're calm, if you're grounded, silence feels intentional. It pulls her closer. That's why this is not about technique. It's about state. Let's be real, my friend. You don't need to say more. You need to hold the moment longer. Because when you hold the moment, she starts filling it herself. She starts investing. She starts trying to understand you. And that's where attraction deepens. You didn't chase. You let her come to you. So next time you're in a conversation, don't rush to fill the silence. Let it sit. Let it breathe. Stay present in it. And watch who moves first. If this is starting to shift your mindset, drop a comment and say, I hold silence. Don't go anywhere, because what we're about to get into next is how reflecting her emotions makes her feel understood on a level most men never reach. Number 4. Mirror her deep desires. Let's get into something most men completely misunderstand, folks. Attraction is not built by impressing her. It's built by making her feel understood. And not on the surface, not through generic compliments or forced agreement. I'm talking about something deeper. The part of her she doesn't show everyone. Her inner world. Let's be real, my friend. Every woman wants to feel seen, not judged, not analyzed, seen. And the man who can do that without trying too hard becomes unforgettable. But here's the key. You don't do this by talking more. You do it by observing more. As Epictetus said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. That's not just wisdom, that's strategy. When you listen carefully, when you pay attention to how she speaks, what she emphasizes, what she avoids, you start to understand what actually matters to her. And once you understand that, you reflect it back. Not by copying her, not by agreeing with everything she says, but by aligning with her emotional tone. If she's playful, you meet her there. If she's more reserved, you slow down with her. If she opens up about something meaningful, you don't interrupt. You let it breathe. That reflection creates familiarity, and familiarity creates comfort. But here's where it becomes powerful. When she feels like you understand her without her having to explain everything, she starts to trust you faster. Because most people don't experience that level of attention. Let's be honest, folks. Most men are waiting for their turn to speak. They're thinking about what to say next instead of actually hearing what she's saying. And she feels that. But when you're fully present, when you respond to what's actually there instead of what you want to say, something shifts. She starts opening up more. Now, here's the part most men get wrong. They go too far. They lose themselves trying to match her. They agree with everything. They mirror too obviously. And suddenly, they're no longer interesting. They're predictable. And predictability kills attraction. As Seneca warned, he who is everywhere is nowhere. If you lose your center trying to reflect her, you lose your identity. And without identity, there's no polarity. So the balance is this. You reflect, but you stay grounded in yourself. You understand, but you don't surrender your frame. You connect, but you don't chase approval. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved." That's the energy you bring. You're steady, you're aware, you're present. And within that stability, she feels safe enough to open up. That's where real attraction begins. Not from excitement, not from performance, but from emotional recognition. Because when she sees herself reflected in you, she doesn't feel like she's meeting someone new. She feels like she's coming home. And that feeling is powerful. So instead of trying to impress her, shift your focus. Understand her, listen deeper, respond with intention, and watch how quickly the connection changes. If this is hitting you, drop a comment and say, "I understand her." Stay with me because what we're about to get into next is how controlling emotional rhythm makes you unforgettable in her mind. And if you're serious about mastering this at a deeper level, not just hearing it, but applying it in real situations, join the membership. That's where we break this down step by step so you can build real control, real presence, and real influence. Number 5. Control the emotional rhythm. Here's where things start to feel different, my friend. Not surface level, not just conversation. This is where attraction becomes something she feels in her body, not just in her mind. Because attraction is not built in stillness alone, it's built in movement. Let's get real, folks. Too much consistency feels safe, but boring. Too much unpredictability feels exciting, but unstable. And what a woman truly responds to is the balance between the two. That's emotional rhythm. Think of it like this. A man named Kevin, 45, is on a second date with a woman named Laura, 37, at a quiet restaurant in Austin. The conversation flows easily at first. Light jokes, some teasing, relaxed energy. Kevin doesn't stay in one mode. At times, he leans in. He engages deeply. He holds eye contact a little longer. He lets the moment build. Then, he pulls back. Not in a cold way, just enough to reset the energy. He shifts the topic. He relaxes. He gives space. Now, something interesting happens. Laura starts paying more attention. She becomes more alert, more invested, because she can't fully predict what's coming next. That unpredictability creates tension. And tension, when it's controlled, creates desire. Now flip it. Same date, same setting, but Kevin stays the same the entire time. Same tone, same energy, same pace, no variation. Laura feels comfortable, but nothing more. That's the difference. Here's the deeper truth, my friend. The human mind craves resolution. It wants to understand what's happening. So, when you create small shifts in energy, when you move between closeness and space, engagement and silence, she starts trying to read you. And in that process, she becomes emotionally involved. Let's be honest here. Most men either overwhelm or disappear. They either push too much, trying to create excitement, or they stay too neutral, afraid to take any risk. But a man who understands emotional rhythm does neither. He creates waves. Back to Kevin and Laura. There's a moment where Kevin tells a story. He's engaged, expressive, pulling her into the moment. Laura laughs, leans in, fully present. Then he pauses. He doesn't immediately continue. He lets the moment settle. He looks at her, calm, grounded. That pause creates tension. Laura breaks it. She asks a question. She wants more. That's the shift. She's now chasing the feeling. Here's what you need to understand, folks. Emotional rhythm is not about playing games. It's about awareness. You're not randomly changing your behavior. You're responding to the moment. You're feeling the interaction. You're adjusting the pace. And that creates something powerful. Because when she feels both comfort and tension in the same interaction, her mind stays engaged. Her emotions stay active. She doesn't get bored. She doesn't lose interest. She stays pulled in. Let's call it what it is, my friend. Predictability kills desire, but chaos without control destroys it too. The power is in balance. So next time you're with a woman, don't stay in one emotional state. Shift slightly. Lean in. Then give space. Build the moment, then let it breathe. And watch how she responds. If this is starting to click, drop a comment and say, "I control the rhythm." Stay tuned, because what we're about to get into next is how mystery builds sexual tension in a way most men completely overlook. Number 6. Mystery builds sexual tension. Let me tell you something most men completely ruin without even realizing it, folks. They talk too much about themselves too soon. They explain everything. They reveal everything. And in doing that, they kill the very thing that creates attraction. Mystery. Let's be honest, my friend. What is fully understood too quickly loses its power. What is slightly out of reach pulls people in. That's not manipulation. That's human nature. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others." Now, flip that perspective. When you don't give her everything up front, she begins to speculate about you. And that's where tension begins. You see, attraction is not built on what she knows about you. It's built on what she's trying to figure out. Most men think they need to impress her with stories, achievements, or constant validation. But the more you explain, the less she feels, because there's nothing left to discover. Let's get real, folks. When a woman can predict you completely, she relaxes. And while comfort is important, too much of it too early removes the spark. Mystery reintroduces that spark. It creates questions in her mind. Who is he really? What is he thinking? Why does he seem so calm? And when those questions start forming, her attention shifts inward. She starts analyzing. She starts imagining. And imagination is where desire grows. As Epictetus taught, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. The same applies here. If she thinks she already understands you completely, she stops exploring. But if there are layers she hasn't uncovered yet, she stays engaged. Now here's the key, my friend. Mystery is not silence without purpose. It's controlled restraint. You answer, but not fully. You share, but selectively. You engage, but you don't overexpose. For example, when she asks about your past, you don't give her your entire life story in one breath. You give her enough to understand your direction, but you leave space. And that space invites curiosity. Let's call it what it is. Curiosity creates pursuit. When she feels like there's more to you than what's visible, she leans in. She asks more questions. She invests more energy. And that investment is what builds emotional and sexual tension. But here's where most men mess it up. They confuse mystery with being distant or cold. That's not the same. Coldness pushes her away. Mystery pulls her closer. As Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." And in this context, being brave means being comfortable, not over-explaining yourself. You don't need to fill every silence. You don't need to prove everything. You don't need her immediate understanding. You're grounded enough to let things unfold. And that calm restraint is attractive because it signals control. It tells her you're not seeking approval. You're not trying to impress. You're simply present. And presence combined with mystery creates a powerful pull. So, instead of trying to be fully known right away, allow yourself to be discovered over time. Let her wonder a little. Let her think about you after the conversation ends. Let her feel like there's something about you she hasn't quite figured out yet, because that feeling keeps you on her mind. If this makes sense to you, drop a comment and say, "I stay mysterious." Don't go anywhere, because what we're about to break down next is how confidence without words creates a level of attraction most men never reach. Number 7. Stay calm, she feels power. Let me say this straight, my friend. The moment you lose control of your emotions, you lose control of the interaction. Not because she judges you consciously, but because she feels it. And women don't respond to what you say nearly as much as they respond to what you transmit. Let's be honest, folks. Most men think attraction comes from intensity, from excitement, from showing how much they feel. But in reality, uncontrolled emotion signals instability, and instability kills trust. Now here's the shift. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is power under control. A man named David, 48, is sitting across from a woman named Michelle, 42, during a late evening conversation at a lounge in Chicago. The energy is there. There's tension. There's attraction. At one point, Michelle makes a slightly teasing comment, something that could challenge his ego. Most men react. They defend themselves. They explain. They try to regain control with words. David doesn't. He pauses. He smiles slightly. He holds eye contact without rushing to respond. That moment changes everything, because instead of reacting, he absorbs the energy, and that creates a shift. Michelle notices it. Not consciously at first, but she feels it. The calm, the grounded presence, the lack of need to prove anything. That's where power is felt. Let's call it what it is, my friend. Emotional control is attractive because it signals security, not just financial or social security, internal security. And when a woman feels that her guard lowers, now here's the deeper layer. Calmness creates contrast. Back to David and Michelle. Later in the conversation, David becomes slightly more expressive. He leans in. His tone changes just a bit. There's more intent in his voice. Because he started from a place of calm, that shift feels stronger. It feels real. It feels intentional. And that's what creates emotional impact. Let's get real, folks. If you're always intense, nothing stands out. If you're always neutral, nothing moves. But when you are grounded first, every shift becomes meaningful. That's emotional leverage. Now let's flip the situation. Another man, same setting, same opportunity. But he reacts to everything. He laughs too quickly. He fills every silence. He over-explains small things. Michelle feels it, not as attraction, as pressure, and pressure makes her pull back. Here's what most men miss, my friend. Silence combined with calm presence is louder than words. When you're not rushing to speak, not reacting to every stimulus, not chasing validation, you create space. And in that space, she starts leaning in, because she wants to feel you more. David doesn't chase the conversation, he allows it. He doesn't try to impress. He stays centered. And because of that, Michelle becomes more engaged. She asks more questions. She invests more. That's the shift. She moves toward him. Now understand this clearly. Calmness is not passive. It's controlled energy. It's knowing you could react, but choosing not to. It's knowing you could explain, but deciding to stay silent. It's presence without pressure. And that combination is rare. So next time you're in that moment when the tension rises, when the energy shifts, don't rush to fill it. Hold it. Let it breathe. Because that's where she starts to feel you. If this is resonating with you, drop a comment and say, I stay calm. Let's keep going, because what's coming next will show you how to create desire without saying a single direct word. Number 8. Pull back to pull her in. Here's something most men never understand, folks. Attraction doesn't grow when you're always available. It grows when there's just enough distance for her to feel your absence. Let's be honest, my friend. If you're always there, always texting back instantly, always giving full attention without pause, she never has the chance to miss you. And if she never misses you, she never chases you. That's the truth most men avoid. As Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Now apply that here. When you're not attached to constant interaction, when you're not seeking continuous validation, you naturally create space. And that space creates tension. Let's get real, folks. Pulling back is not about playing games. It's about maintaining your center. You engage, then you step away. You show interest, then you return to your life. You create connection, then you allow it to breathe. That rhythm signals something powerful. You have a life outside of her, and that alone increases your value. Because when a man is too available, it feels like he has nothing else going on. But when he naturally pulls back, it creates curiosity. Why did he step away? What is he doing now? Is he thinking about me? And just like that, she starts thinking about you more. That's the shift. As Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. When you're not emotionally dependent on constant contact, you project freedom. And freedom is attractive. Now here's the key, my friend. Pulling back must feel natural. If it feels forced, if it feels like a tactic, she will sense it, and it will backfire. But when it comes from a place of genuine focus on your own life, your own priorities, your own direction, it feels different. It feels real. And that's what pulls her in. Let's call it what it is. Attention is valuable because it's limited. If you give it away constantly, it loses meaning. But if you give it with intention, then step back, it becomes something she notices, something she wants more of. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. You don't control how she reacts, but you do control your presence. And when your presence is not constant, it becomes more impactful. Now here's where most men fail. They either never pull back or they disappear completely. Both are mistakes. Never pulling back makes you predictable. Disappearing makes you unreliable. The power is in balance. You stay present when you're there, but you're not always there. That contrast builds anticipation, and anticipation builds desire. Because when she doesn't fully have you, when she feels like she has to meet you halfway, she becomes more invested. She starts reaching out. She starts wondering. She starts leaning in. And that's exactly where you want her. Not chasing you out of confusion, but drawn to you because of the space you create. So next time you feel the urge to overextend, to keep the conversation going, just to maintain connection, pause, step back, let the interaction settle, let her come toward you, because that's how attraction deepens. If this is making sense, drop a comment and say, I step back. Don't go anywhere, because what's coming next is how subtle dominance without pressure creates a pull she won't be able to resist. Number 9. Discipline creates dark attraction. Let me be direct with you, my friend. The kind of attraction that lingers, the kind she can't quite explain, it doesn't come from charm alone, it comes from discipline. Not the loud kind, not the kind you show off. I'm talking about quiet, controlled internal discipline. Because let's get real, folks. Most men are ruled by impulse. They react when they feel something. They chase when they want something. They speak when silence would serve them better. And women feel that lack of control immediately. Now, here's the shift. A disciplined man does not react instantly. He chooses his responses. He controls his energy. He doesn't let emotions push him into actions he'll regret later. And that control creates a different kind of presence. A man named Robert, 52, meets a woman named Angela, 46, at a private networking event in New York. There's attraction from the start. Angela is confident, experienced, used to men trying to impress her. Robert doesn't rush. He doesn't over-engage. He doesn't try to dominate the conversation. He listens. He speaks when it matters. He maintains steady eye contact, but never forces intensity. Now here's where discipline shows up. Angela tests him. She makes a subtle comment about his lifestyle, a slight challenge, a moment where most men would either defend themselves or try to prove their worth. Robert doesn't take the bait. He smiles slightly. He acknowledges it without over-explaining. Then he redirects the conversation calmly. That moment shifts the dynamic, because Angela expected a reaction, and when it didn't come, she becomes more curious. That's the power of discipline. Let's be honest, my friend. Emotional reactions are predictable, and predictability lowers perceived value. But when a man stays composed, when he doesn't react to every emotional stimulus, he becomes harder to read, and that creates intrigue. Back to Robert. As the conversation continues, he doesn't rush to escalate physically or verbally. He allows space. He controls the pace. He lets Angela invest, and something interesting happens. She leans in more. She asks deeper questions. She starts qualifying herself. Why? Because his discipline creates contrast. Most men chase. He doesn't. Most men react. He stays grounded. Most men try to gain approval. He doesn't need it, and that difference creates attraction that feels almost magnetic. Let's call it what it is, folks. Discipline signals power, not external power, internal power. It tells her that you are not controlled by desire, you control it. And when a man controls his desires, instead of being controlled by them, he becomes rare. Now flip the situation. Another man, same environment, same opportunity. But he laughs too quickly. He agrees too easily. He reacts emotionally to small things. Angela feels it instantly, not consciously, but emotionally. And she loses interest. Because without discipline, there is no tension. Without tension, there is no pull. Here's the deeper truth, my friend. Discipline is what allows you to hold back when others rush, to stay silent when others speak too much, to remain calm when others react. And that restraint builds a quiet intensity. That's what creates dark attraction. Not force, not pressure, but controlled energy. So the next time you feel the urge to react, to chase, to prove something, pause. Hold your frame. Let the moment unfold without forcing it, because that's where your power is. If this resonates with you, drop a comment and say, I stay disciplined. Stay with me, because what's coming next is how mastering your presence turns all of this into something she can feel without you saying a word. Number 10. Lead without needing her. Let me leave you with something that most men never fully understand, my friend. The strongest position you can ever be in with a woman is wanting her, but not needing her. That's the difference between attraction and attachment. Let's get real, folks. The moment she feels like you need her to feel complete, to feel validated, to feel like a man, the dynamic shifts. Not in your favor, because neediness creates pressure, and pressure kills desire. But a man who leads without needing creates something entirely different. He creates freedom, and paradoxically, that freedom pulls her closer. Now understand this clearly. Leading does not mean controlling her. It does not mean forcing outcomes. It does not mean dominating conversations or decisions. It means setting direction without dependence. It means you move forward whether she follows or not. That energy is rare. And rarity creates value. Think about it this way. Most men adjust themselves to fit her. They change their tone, their opinions, their behavior just to maintain her interest. But a man who leads without needing her stays consistent. He invites her into his world. He doesn't reshape his world around her. Let's be honest, my friend. That's what creates respect. And without respect, attraction never lasts. When a woman feels like she can walk away and you would collapse, she may feel powerful, but she won't feel drawn. But when she senses that you value her, enjoy her presence, but you are completely fine without her, something shifts. She starts investing more, because now she has something to lose. That's the dynamic most men never reach. Here's the deeper layer. Leading without needing requires internal stability. It means your identity is not built on her reactions, not on her approval, not on her attention. You have your own direction, your own standards, your own purpose. And she either aligns with that, or she doesn't. You don't force alignment. You observe it, and when it's there, you move forward. When it's not, you step away without drama. That's power. Let's call it what it is, folks. Detachment is not coldness. It's clarity. You know what you want. You know what you accept. And you're not afraid to walk away if it's not there. That alone separates you from 90% of men. Because most men stay too long. They tolerate too much. They chase when they should be walking away. And women feel that. Now here's the part most men overlook. When you lead without needing her, you remove pressure from the interaction. You're not trying to force attraction. You're not trying to make something happen. You're simply showing up as you are and allowing her to respond. And that creates something natural, something real. Because now, when she leans in, it's her choice, not your effort. And choice is what makes attraction powerful. So, instead of asking yourself how to get her, how to impress her, how to keep her, shift the question. Are you living in a way that naturally draws her in? Are you grounded enough to walk away if she doesn't align? Are you strong enough to enjoy her without depending on her? Because that's the mindset that changes everything. A man who leads without needing is not chasing outcomes. He is creating a life. And she either becomes part of it or she doesn't. Either way, he moves forward. That's the energy that stays with her. That's the presence she remembers. And that is where real attraction lives. All right, my friend, let's bring this home. What we've broken down today isn't about tricks, lines, or chasing outcomes. It's about mastering yourself. From controlling your words, your silence, your emotional rhythm, to building mystery, discipline, and calm presence, every piece comes back to one thing: power within. Because when you stop reacting, stop over-explaining, and stop needing, you naturally become the man she feels, not just hears. And that's where real attraction lives. If you want to go deeper, not just understand this, but actually apply it in real situations, join the membership. That's where we break this down step by step, so you can build real control, real confidence, and real results. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. Appreciate you being here, my friend. I'll see you in the next video.